Hey, Joseph from Oklahoma. We'll just open it up for questions. Please raise your hand and identify yourself.
Coach Robin Walker with Frontline.com. It seemed like you guys weren't really flustered by the atmosphere early with the way that you started the game. How did you think you just handled the environment today?
Yeah, I thought it was an unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, it's as good as in college basketball. No one tell me that's a neutral game, please. It was a high level game. You got to give credit to Nebraska. Offensively, both teams did some elite things offensively. Between the 16-minute and 8-minute mark, they had like 35 minutes in that 8-minute stretch. Crowd couldn't hear; it was deafening in that 8-minute stretch, and they just kept. They're hard to guard when you got a guy like Mast who's can roll you in the post on a switch, but then he can pick and pop you on a three on a different ball screen coverage. And when he's hitting, Sanford, they were hitting from that deep, very hard to guard. But elite atmosphere for this game.
Wilson Moore, Omaha World Herald. You mentioned Mast. Just what kind of matchup problems does he create?
He'll roll you in the post. He takes his time. And he's very physical. He can pass out of the post. He cut up a couple teams earlier. If you try to double him, they got shooters everywhere. He takes his time in the post. Then he spins, changes speeds. Elite pick and pop guy. And he can pass up there as they're playing their 5 out. He is an elite college basketball player. He really is tough to defend. We got to be better defensively. If the schedule we play, I mean, that's the schedule we play. We've got a really good team. We've got to guard better, but you got to credit Nebraska because they were very hard to guard when they're shooting like that and the atmosphere is like that. That was you had everything clicking in that 8 minutes.
Seemed like you guys set the tone physically just with your aggressive defense, be able to push the pace. Is that kind of how your game plan went in to kind of force the issue with them physically?
We were. I thought we had the pace where we wanted it. To be honest, we're fatigued. You know, and there's no excuses, but our numbers are so down. We don't have enough to go 5-on-5 practice, and I'm really worried about it. And I worry about our conditioning. You know, I thought between that 8-minute mark, the conditioning and that we got to get deeper. We're going to get another guard back here in about 10 days. That's going to really help us. We got to get some depth at the post player. We got to develop that. But I thought Nebraska just kept on running their offense hard and wore us down a little bit. In that 16 to 8-minute mark, they just were really moving hard cuts, and I thought we were really good in the early on, and I just thought we got that 16-minute to the 8-minute mark. I think they scored like 35 points. I think they scored 10 straight possessions. Someone just told me. Felt like it.
Blake Scarlett's Drew podcast. The Huskers were +8 in rebounding in the second half. Do you attribute that in part to the lack of conditioning?
I don't know if it's lack of conditioning. Again, I don't know what no, they just, I remember 4 or 5 50-50 balls that I was disappointed in they got when we did. So in that stretch, that's usually how it goes. In that stretch, they're hitting a shot, they get the 50-50 ball. We had 2 turnovers on 2 lob passes, and the game swings. And I thought we did so many things we wanted to do the first 25 minutes. And the atmosphere, the making shots, getting 50-50 balls, it kind of snowballed those 8 minutes.
This was kind of a hornet's nest for you guys just to walk into this. What do you think your team gained from playing in this type of environment with so much adversity just from families?
Oh, well, learn about communication. I mean, it's on defense. Every coach will tell you this. And again, I remember you listening to Rick Majerus talk about this. Second half defense, when you're away from the bench and you're away from things, that's elite communication teams. And in this atmosphere, against the movement Nebraska does, you better communicate. We got caught on some switches, boom, hit a screen, open 3. And we've got to get better at the second half communication. When you're fatigued and your communication goes down, you can't hear, those are all things that go against you. And I think they all went against us. I don't think our communication was great. I think we hit screens, and I think their offensive execution was great. And then they made the shots. It was like a bunch of things just all checked, I thought.
Coach Harmon Johnson, Nebraska Student Radio, you guys shot 90% from the free throw lines and getting a guard back. How does that benefit you guys moving forward, knowing that every time you get fouled, you're probably going to get 2 points out of it?
Well, I think we got, just some depth there that's going to help us. But I really thought, Nigel, X, and Dayton, our three guys, those guys can really do some things offensively. We give up size when we play the three guards together on rebounding. But we've got to collectively do a lot of good things better defensively. But I can't say enough. I got to credit Nebraska. I mean, we won't see a lot of teams in the country that can pick and pop and shoot. And a lot of teams don't go inside the post as much. It's two things they do that you just don't see in the game a lot anymore. You don't see a lot of post-ups anymore. And you don't see a lot of pick and pop fives. We're not. And they have both those things. And I thought their movement was really good. Fatigued us. So it was an elite atmosphere. I thought it was an elite game. Disappointing we're on the wrong side of that thing. And we'll get better. We will get better.
The SEC had a record number of teams in the tournament last year, so your team is obviously exposed to a lot of what those teams look like. Does Nebraska profile as a tournament
Yeah,
team?
they're very good. They're very good. They're with the shooters, the execution, toughness. They got some older guys. They got some older guys that have been there. Very, very good team. You'll see them in March. I really believe that.
I'm going to take the last one, Coach. First time for your program playing in the state of South Dakota. First time, as you mentioned, in this building, which has kind of a unique situation, unique reputation. You mentioned the electric cow, but what are your thoughts overall on the experience of playing in a new place?
I wish I was a bystander and not the head coach who just took the L. Elite atmosphere, elite building, elite tradition. I've watched games on Pentagon on TV many times in my career. I was excited to play here. Thought we had our guys ready to play. We're on the wrong side of it, but elite atmosphere and Husker fan base for this game.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate you. Safe travels back.
All right, thanks. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
To be joined momentarily by Shane, opening statement, or just open up for questions.
Probably just open for questions.
Okay, great. Excellent. All right, we're joined by representatives from Nebraska. We'll open it up right away for questions. Please identify yourself and fire away.
Hey, Brent, Robin Washington from Online.com. Coach Porter Moser mentioned the 16 to 8 minute mark in the second half is what really kind of defined the game in his mind. What do you think from your vantage point flipped during that 8 minute stretch to kind of catch you guys in control?
That's a heck of a team, a well-coached team, and it's just a great win for our program. That being said, I didn't love our start where obviously, we get down 10-0 right out of the chute. And I thought Oklahoma threw the first punch and they were the more physical team early in that game. And, I give our guys a lot of credit. They found a way to withstand it. We talked before the game that the biggest thing that would win this is how we handled adversity. And, I thought we did that well, especially if we got down 16, I think. We dug ourselves that hole in the first half. And then we started finding the mismatch. We slowed down. We, their switching bothered us early in the half, but once we, got the ball to the right guy and took our time and got the ball inside, we started scoring it, and that got us a little rhythm. And that's what was able to cut it to striking distance, get it to 7 before half, and then, dug ourselves a little bit of a hole. I think got back down to double digits, and then, we went on an unbelievable run. And, a big thing I think with that is we started getting deflections, we started getting our hands on balls, and that led to some run-ups and, some transition shots. And then these two guys were unbelievable. And then, I give Jamarcus a lot of credit. He had a really tough first half and, not even a great first 5 minutes. And then he got fire. And, another guy that I thought was a huge factor in that game was Kale. I thought Kale was unbelievable and just doing a little bit of everything for us. So, just guys found a way. It was, great resiliency by him. Now we'll see what we're made of. We have a big emotional win like this. We can't be satisfied. We've got to bounce back. You guys are going to write good things about them, hopefully. You certainly write bad things about them when things don't go well. So, things went well for us. And, now we got to find a way not to listen to it and bounce back with a great day of practice on Monday.
How do you think you guys handled Oklahoma's just size and physicality in the second half compared to?
Well, the biggest positive first half, we had 0 turnovers. And, when you look at the final box, you have 20 assists and 5 turnovers against a physical, tough, deny passing lanes, get up full court pressure you. It only had 5 turnovers. And this game was a huge reason that we got it going. And listen, this team is built where it's not going to be the same guy every night. And tonight it was these two guys. Jamarcus had all 14 in the second half. I thought Burke was terrific all game long. And, you know, our guys did a really good job of finding and screening for the guys that had it going. And, you know, that's what it's all about is, you know, I can't call a set play on every possession. I can't call, you know, 30 timeouts to set something up. And our guys, the flow was incredible in this game. And you shoot 64% in the second half against a really good defensive team. So, yeah, I guess long-winded answer to your question, Wilson. I thought we handled the pressure and the size about as well as we could. And then the rebounding, it was even, you know, 30 apiece, and held them under 10 offensive rebounds. And again, that was a big key. The one thing I didn't, you know, they got comfortable. And a lot of that was we just couldn't guard the ball. We didn't guard the ball well in the slots. And they were kicking it out, spraying it out. They got hot. And it was really tough to shut them off. And they were making tough contested shots. But when you're comfortable, like these guys were, those shots are a lot easier to go down. So our defensive energy, intensity has been really good all year. I mean, it's really been the best thing we've done all season. But we got to get that hunger. We got to get that intensity back on that end.
With Kale, how big specifically were those minutes in the first half when Jamarcus had the foul trouble, just holding things down?
Yeah, they were huge. And, you know, the second half as well, you know, one thing we talked to our guys about is drive the ball. They're staying home on the shooters. And, you know, whether we drew contact, we did a good job getting to the bonus. Oklahoma's made more free throws than their opponents have attempted. It's one of the best things they do. And I think we flipped that tonight. We got to the free throw line 27 times to their 21. And, yeah, so it was, I can't remember what the hell you asked. Kale, yeah, and Kale just, you know, but he just kept going. You know, he got to the basket. He had a big and one. He drew a couple fouls. You know, he just plays with so much poise. That's the beauty of Kale. He just, you know, he can play any position on the floor. And he's just his overall basketball IQ is as good as anybody in our team.
Pryce talked about staying with it, even when things weren't going early, how you guys kind of slowed things down, stuck after Coach Moser said that he felt like his team kind of wore down physically and that you guys, your conditioning kind of was a separator down the stretch. Did you kind of feel things turning a little bit because you were able to stay patient, that eventually you got that rhythm and maybe swung momentum?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got some good transition looks, and but our offense, our pace was really, really good. They just couldn't, you know, withstand all those screens that big boy Rienk sets. It's hard to get over those screens, and we just kept at it. Probably how we kept fighting the whole game.
Hey, Pryce, Matt Tilly, KETV Omaha. You played in this venue last year with Iowa. What was the atmosphere like today?
It was absolutely unbelievable. You know, I was talking to Pentagon representative out here, and he was saying that's the best environment he's heard in the 100 games that have been here. And I'd say the same thing. You know, it was just a different environment, and that was a huge part of the win. So.
And let me build on that real quick. You talk about the conditioning. The crowd had a lot to do with that. You know, I mean, when you got 99% of the fan base out there cheering you on. I mean, that's Bryce 100% right. That was a huge factor in this win, but they almost willed us to keep going. And I kept asking Bryce, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, leave me in, coach." And, you know, Rienk, same thing. So, you know, we're going to ride them. And again, I think our fans had a huge part in winning the conditioning battle tonight.
Rienk, in a chaotic environment like this, Fred mentioned the limiting the turnovers. How do you, as a veteran, just keep things level and even in a situation like this?
You try and keep reminding the guys, like, hey, whatever happens, if they score, they have a little run, like, just stay poised. I try and be an outlet if some of those guards get heated up, and like, throw me the ball, I can settle it down and just go to a quick handoff or a easy ball screen. Sometimes if somebody gets it going, like I know in the first half, I know Pryce just hit one, and I'm like, hey, let's run this action for Pryce right now, just to get everybody on the same page. And if you can help guys know what they're doing, that settles them down quite a bit.
Bryce, Chase Madison, 10-11 News in Lincoln. Just you've obviously played in this venue before. Nebraska's played here the past 3 years, but just in that second half, just what were the conversations in a very loud huddle, and really just how fulfilling is it to host the second half like that? And now you guys are 4-0 this season.
Yeah, you know, at the beginning of the half, we would stay together. You know, keep chipping away at the lead, and then once we got that lead, you know, just put the foot down and keep going, take care of the ball like we did. Get into our flow. So, you know, it was hard to hear each other, but yeah, it was good competition.
Hey, Rick, when things were struggling offensively early, Pryce was kind of the one guy that got things going a little bit. Just what kind of impact has it made, not just tonight, but over the course of the season with the offense he's able to bring when things are slow otherwise?
Yeah, he was using that just in the first half of getting us going. I'd say BK was big time with getting us going in that first half too. But he's so poised. He was one of the first to recognize, like, hey, if I just drive it, they're staying home. Let me go finish. His ability to shoot and stretch the floor makes it way easier on everybody else. There's just so much space because they're staying home on. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do that all season, but he was big time affected in.
Frank or Bryce, either of you, just what do you think it was about the ball movement tonight that created those looks that you get shot 56%, right?
All week we talked about poise. I'd say in the last game we were kind of stagnant. We didn't move as well, so that was a big factor, big emphasis in practice to just keep moving, keep cutting. We worked on that a lot, and I'd say that translated to the game.
Fred, earlier in the week, you said pace and purpose were two big areas of focus. How did you see this team put that into practice?
Yeah, I'll translate for Rienk. Our pace and purpose sucked last week, so yeah, to find a way to get it back tonight. Yeah, and that's what you want from your team. We had a long film session and cleanup after the Maryland Eastern Shore game, and I thought our guys carried that over to the floor, and that's what you look for as a coaching staff is how your guys do when they come out of the film room, and to be able to carry that over into this game. And we needed every one of those points. Obviously, we played a hot team tonight, and I thought our pace, purpose, and screening, and everything that we did was off the charts. And again, we're going to need that. That can't be a one-time thing. We got to find a way to bottle that up and go out and replicate it again on Thursday.
Mike Scarlett shooter around. You had a career high 28 tonight. What do you feel working for you, and what was it like to do with that environment we had?
Yeah, I came out and hit my first two shots or whatever it was, and I missed one. But I think it was really just getting downhill. I give a lot of credit to my teammates, like Rienk said, setting up plays, setting up actions to get you going, carrying it out, and then just making the right plays. Really, our team is super unselfish. So keeping the ball moving, getting downhill, it's going to be big for me to get downhill and not just settle with a 3-point line game.
Fred, going back to the crowd real quick, this may be a little above pay grade, but you guys are obviously contractually
There's a lot of things.
contractually expected to be here for the next couple of years. How much would you like to see this be an annual thing extend?
Yeah, we love it here, and we get a benefit from this game, and it helps us. It helps us financially. So we're going to keep coming up here. I know our fans love it. They circle this game on the calendar as one of the highlights of the year. And it was last night. We saw a bunch of people at dinner when we went out as a team. You see them at our hotel. We had the Go Big Red chant. About 30 kids when we were walking out to the bus today. It was really cool. And yeah, I mean, this is a great venue. I think I might have scheduled one of the first college games when I was at Iowa State. I didn't coach it. I think I scheduled it. So I've always known this is a really cool place. And yeah, we're certainly going to keep coming back because it's an advantage for us. It's a neutral game, but obviously we get the majority of the fans. So we'll keep hunting for good opponents. To make this good. A fun, exciting game, and we're going to continue to do that. And I got to give Pryce some credit too. 7 assists, that's a career high as well, and 0 turnovers. And that's big time.
That's for coach players.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nebraska. Good luck this season. Appreciate it. It was a fun night.
Thank you.